In this lesson, we're going to set up TextEdit, which is where we're going to write our code. I'm also going to review a few HTML terms that are going to be in our first document. But before we get into that, let's create a folder where we're going to store our files. I'm going to name this folder CSS Tutorials. So go ahead and open TextEdit. There are a few things we're going to have to change right away. Go up into Preferences, and we're going to use plain text as opposed to rich text. We're also going to display HTML files as HTML code instead of the formatted text. Go ahead and exit out, close, and when you open up a new file, you're no longer going to see the original TextEdit at the top. We're going to start with a left-facing arrow, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it makes it easier to see. And then the doc type. So we're going to start with exclamation point, doc type, space, HTML. And this simply declares or defines the document to be an HTML document. Next, we're going to do left arrow, HTML, right arrow, leave a little bit of white space, / HTML, followed by right arrow. The code that's written between HTML and / HTML will be the HTML code that the document is going to use. Next, we're going to create a head. Same format, left arrow, head, right arrow, leave a little bit of white space. We're going to close that with / head, right arrow. What is written between head and / head is the info about the document. This is where you link other files to the document and you can create a title for your page. Our title is going to be CSS Home. And then again, / title, right arrow. And that's all we're going to start with in our head for now. Next is going to be the body. And the body is the information that's going to be displayed on the page itself. Within the body, we want to have a heading. So we're going to say H1, and then what we want that heading to be. Welcome to the home page, and then we're going to close that heading. So / H1, and then we're going to have a paragraph. That's going to start with P. So H1 is a default heading, P is the default paragraph. So once you write your text that you want to appear in your paragraph, we're going to close the paragraph, left arrow, / P, right arrow. So in our body, which is what's going to be displayed, we're going to have our header 1 saying welcome to the home page. Then our paragraph will say, this is your source for CSS tutorials by May. By the end of this lesson series, you will know the basics of styling a website. Here we go. And that's the end of our paragraph. Let's go ahead and save this file. And we're going to name this file home.html. Unclick the if no extension is provided, use .txt, because we don't want this to be a text file. We want this to be an HTML file. So home.html. And I'm actually going to name this CSS home.html. And we want this file not just on our desktop, but in the CSS tutorials folder we've already created. So now we can go over to the CSS tutorials, and there will be an HTML document. You can right-click and open it with any web browser you wish. My default web browser is Google Chrome. You can also just double-click and your file will appear. So you can see our title, CSS Home, appears under the Page tab, CSS Home. Our header 1, Welcome to the Home page. Here is the default H1 settings, and then our paragraph directly below that. Hopefully from this video you got a good understanding of how to set up TextEdit or whatever notebook source that you're using to write your code, and you should have an understanding of how to create a document and open it up on a source such as Google Chrome, Safari, or Internet Explorer. Remember to give me a thumbs up on this video if you like the content and subscribe to my YouTube channel.